So guys, Rufai and the former governor of Ebonyi State in the person of former governor Umahi were seen, in a heated debate in a video as Rufai questioned him over transparency, in the Lagos Calabar coastal highway road that is being built under the Tinubu's government. Rufai is questioning about, transparency and why was the bidding of that project not thrown open. We know that project is being handled by Tinubu's high-tech company, a company that we were told that Tinubu is part and parcel of those owning that company. Rufai is questioning why was it not an open bidding, process so that other companies can come and, struggle to get their own slots. So guys, you need to see how Rufai showed, dead Governor Umahi. I'm just going to allow you to take a look at this video because see, the level of corruption in this country is unbelievable. This is the same minister, if you can remember, the lady from Arise TV that asked her questions about this project, and he said, I know they understand for a kind of phonetics, that he does not understand phonetics, something like that. And this time around, Rufai is still throwing more questions as regards to that project. Under the APC, nothing is made transparent. Under the APC, so many questions. People are always left in suspense. Let me allow you to take a look at the video and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Now take a look.
Again, what you have just come to tell us here, that you are doing a project,
Rufai.
Good to see you. Good to see you, sir. What you have just come to tell us here is that you are doing a project worth trillions without transparency and an open bidding process that gives everybody the chance. Can you show me if there was
somebody tell
hang on a minute, let me finish now. Let me finish. I gave you the chance.
Rufai, hold on.
Can you show me?
You don't darken counsel without knowledge.
No, wait a minute.
I'm putting you right so that you can ask.
Let me finish.
No, get information right.
You won't allow me finish. Let me land at least.
You are finishing on wrong.
Wait now, Minister. You want to take this interview from me? Let me ask the question and you correct it.
Rufai, you are dark.
Let me ask the question and you correct it. Please, let me speak, Minister. We are very good friends, so you gave me honorable mention at the Millennium Bridge. You are my man. Bless you. So what you are saying is that no independent free bidding process for everybody. You just went along with high tech because they did some work in Lagos before. And the argument you are making, with due respect, Minister, that they brought equipment to help in the independent bridge scenario and all of that. That's no big deal. They are benefiting from the government in other ways through the coastal road. So it's not an argument. So you are saying that there was no open tender. At least give others a chance to bid. Secondly, Minister, I want to bring forward the case of Winsome. You will react, Minister. You will react. Let me have my time. You will react to it.
Rufai, hold on.
Minister, I'm not finished asking my question now. You have not finished. Now you will react to it.
Let me correct this one.
You will react to it. Give me the chance. You see, we are wasting time. Winsome Homes. She said she got some money from the diaspora. And there's been a back and forth I've been seeing in the news. I don't know what your take is on that Winsome Home project, the real estate developer. Thirdly, Minister, give me empirical facts of how much you have spent for this first 30 kilometers that is about to be commissioned. How much you have spent in also the street light deployment and other things that you've deployed in this first 30 kilometers. So let us know a price range variation. If you can also give me kilometer by kilometer spending and some other empirical breakdown so we can see it. If you can't finish it here, you can send the documents to us so that we can just also assess the spending. Thank you, Minister.
Rufai, first and foremost is that you have to recall that you carried your calculator and I was in the studio and I was giving you the figures. I didn't carry calculator like you, and your calculator could not properly calculate what I was saying. It was, Dr. Bati that came between us. He said, okay, leave the calculation. So I ran the figures. Rufai, the first 47 by 47 kilometer of the Section 1 Coastal Highway was awarded at 1.068 trillion. And we have 30% component of the federal government counterpart funding and 70% loan component. As of today, we have not secured one kobo loan on the project. But High Tech had invested their money and that job is about 80% done. The solar light is not an isolated contract. It's part of the project, the road architecture. You have the cable ducting, you have the drainage, you have the tree planting, and of course you have the train track, which we have made provision, for future train construction. It's not part of my mandate, but we have to make that provision, for future. And then when you said we didn't give others the opportunity, and that's what I'm trying to correct you, that we have three kinds of procurement process. The first one is, restrictive for specialized jobs. And when we use, that specialized procurement process for sections 1 and 2, for section 3A and 3B, Sokoto Badagry, the Trans-Sahara route, it became selective tendering. Other contractors were invited in each of the other processes, and of course they bid it. And the high-tech won because of their technical competence, the equipment they parade, the number of expertise they have, and the local content components of the engagement, because they have a lot of engineers engaged, they have a lot of engineers being trained, they have a lot of services being given, and even small contracts are being given to our engineers so that they can also learn and benefit from that. And so when you talk about how much have we spent on section 1, we've paid 30% of the cost I told you. And when you come to section 2, it's 1.33 trillion. And we have only committed 30% of the cost of that project. And the 70% is the loan component. And that loan component has not come. And that's why the development partners came, the Dutch Bank and the Development Bank of Southern Africa. They came and they were very much interested. Today, a lot of other African Development Bank, Islamic Bank, they are coming knocking for us to interact with them. They are interested seeing what we have done. And by December, I believe strongly that we would have completed section 1. Section 1 is supposed to be for 36 months. But this 30 kilometer we've completed is being done within 1 year, 12 months. And I'm very, very, very happy with what High Tech is doing. High Tech is not just, a contracting firm. They are development partners of this country. And you see, people always look at one side of an issue. You are not looking at competence. You are not looking at ability to deliver the work. You are not looking at the equipment, availability of equipment. You are not looking at the risk being taken, by contractors doing this job. I know of other contractors in this country, not all of them, but many of them, when we award job to them, they will never put a shovel on ground until they are paid mobilization. And that's why I changed the narrative. And in the contract, I said, listen, if we give you a job, because at the bidding process, you will tell us about your financial capacity. If we give you a job and within 30 days you have not started permanent work, it now deemed that contract is terminated. And when we give you mobilization, we are not giving you another money until you exhaust that mobilization and end a milestone, over and above the mobilization.
Minister,
and this is what we are doing to meet people that are portfolio contractors. And that is working. And that is what the president directed we should do. And that is what you are doing.
Cost per kilometer. Just give me the number. Cost per kilometer in this first 30 kilometers. Quickly, Minister. Cost per kilometer.
Well, Senator Omai, I will go ahead with my question. Cost per kilometer. That can be communicated elsewhere, outside morning show. Let's focus on the issues. I ask you, during the May 21 APC National Summit,
it's like I lost
at the Villa.
I lost the studio.
Can you hear me,
yes,
sir?
I was asking for the cost per kilometer, which is a very important question, Senator. Very important question. Cost per kilometer. That's accountability of the people. If you can give us the cost per kilometer
we'll
question.
Take a short break. If Senator Engineer David Umahi is not...
Let me start from what the government should have been done upon the removal of fuel subsidy. If you recall, the much maligned Gogol General Abacha, when he removed a few kobbos from fuel subsidy, he set up the PTDF that was led by former President Muhammadu Buhari. When also Jonathan removed a few nairas from the fuel subsidy, he set up Shopee. So there were concrete things that we are seeing where those monies were targeted, at least some part of the money. Now, Tinubu removed fuel subsidy hook, line, and sinker. Not a single kobo was left on the subsidy. What is the name of the intervention where the money is going? Nobody knows. I mean, the CNG initiative is all a mantra. One had expected that at least the kits and the conversion could have been subsidized by government to enable Nigerians who are so poor to move over, okay, and then reduce the cost of transportation. One would have expected targeted investments in health. For instance, covering the health insurance of the poorest of the poor under the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. More of those resources could have been targeted. One could have also expected more improvements in the level of education infrastructure and teaching, okay, not just the education loan stuff. Because the education loan program is even a bill that was started during the Buhari days. It's not a Tinubu administration bill, although he was the one who signed it into law. And you can even see that it's not a sustainable idea, because at the end of the day, you have to get work, get employed, earn an income before you can pay back, unless the government is ready to continue putting it money without the sustainability idea. So in essence, government was supposed to plow back a good portion of that money that was saved from fuel subsidy in places that Nigerians can begin to see and feel the impact. But that has not been done. Now, getting back, to the borrowing idea and what they are telling us from the Minister of Finance, I think this is, with utmost respect to those who crafted that statement, they believe Nigerians are little kids that don't understand. Because even the idea of borrowing started at the medium-term expenditure framework. And now the letter they have sent to the National Assembly contains specific projects. I'm insisting, it contains specific projects. I sent a staff of mine yesterday to the National Assembly to get a copy of those specific projects. But the person that we met, the room that they met, said they have instructions not to release it to Nigerians. So it is not true that they are not going to start borrowing. When you bring a letter and accompany it with specific projects, what else are you doing? Once you are giving that approval, you can do it anytime. You can do it tomorrow. You can wait until 2006, 2026. So that's not true. So what we are saying in essence is that from previous experience, most of the money we have been borrowing, we are not necessary. And some that were necessary, we have frittered away because they were not in the public domain. Nobody knew. For instance, look at the bulk of the money we took for sifters, a particular World Bank program. It was supposed to be for reforms. What were we reforming? States have to draft audit laws. States have to make sure they implement their fiscal responsibility and public procurement law. Do you need a foreigner, the World Bank, America, or Britain, or France, to give you money to draft a law? Because at the end of the day, the law was even drafted by Nigerians, approved by Nigerians. Do you need anybody's money to implement a fiscal responsibility law at the state level, which you yourself has approved, your legislature approved, and your governor signed? Okay, let's go and face it. Let me give you a typical scenario. Government has borrowed so much money for girl child education in northern Nigeria. If you look at the figures, it could possibly be more than $5 billion. Now, have we moved an inch? Have the indicators improved? So we can't continue repeating the same mistakes, the same thing, and expecting different results. When you put this information about the specific projects in the public domain, we can begin to debate it. So what the statement from the Minister of Finance or wherever it came from stated is not true. They can borrow as soon as the approval is given. So particularly for the administration, we were expecting even at this midterm, because it's only 1 year they have left. 2027 will no longer be for governance, it will be for politicking and elections. There were basic things we were expecting. One, I talked about education, I talked about health. Can anybody say the access to power, electricity has improved? We were expecting investments, in the grid, or reforms that will have made access to electricity much more affordable or more easier for Nigerians. Rather, we have increased costs, we have increased tariffs, but the power situation has not changed. We were expecting good roads and other infrastructure. Rather, we are not seeing that. The only thing we saw was just a highly political Lagos-Calabar coastal road. And the award of the contract did not follow due process. That was what the minister was on Arise the other day trying to explain, but his explanation was not sufficient. And out of 700 kilometers, you are just commissioning 30, and you are at midterm. So if you follow this trajectory, you may not do more than 60 or maximum 100. So who do you leave it for? So in essence, if you look at the resources available to the administration, both at the federal and state level, they cannot justify why they are moving at such a snail, slow speed. There hasn't been commensurate investment in improvements in infrastructure or human resources following the bigger money available to them. But what I see is that they have increased the resources available in places where they can expend without public scrutiny. Service-wide votes. Go and look at it. So much money running into hundreds of billions and trillions have been left there. Maybe going to be managed between the Ministry of Finance and the presidency. And also, of course, the constituency monies available to legislators have increased. In fact, one legislator, somebody was writing the other day that none of them gets less than $1 billion in constituency votes. Where is the result of that investment? What are we seeing in the rural areas, in the constituencies where these legislators come from? So, in essence, we haven't gotten a good deal. There's been no value for money. It is not about what they say, but what we, the Nigerians, feel on the ground. It is not about what Financial Times or an international agency writes. We did not elect you to report to Financial Times or the World Bank. We elected you to improve our living conditions. We elected you to give us access to water, give us electricity, give us good roads, improve our health, improve the education services. That has not happened. And in some instances, the indicators are going back. Whether it is in the area of inflation, maybe anybody can say inflation has reduced because they changed the base year. They changed the methodology of calculating inflation. That's why it came down from around 33 to about 23 now. Even in unemployment, they changed the methodology of calculating it that today nobody knows what the unemployment figures are. Okay, before we knew it was around 30-something%, and the unemployment has worsened. But if you look at their figures, they can tell you it's less than 5%. But everybody knows that cannot be true. So we are not thinking about figures being churned out, but we are talking about the practical reality for the majority of Nigerians.
Let me start by saying that many of us in this country, many Nigerians, what we sometimes exhibit the problem of lack of memory. We have very short memory. We forget where we started from, and we just start blaming President Tinubu for all the problems that Nigeria is going through. I remember, for instance, in May 2023, when Tinubu took over the government, there was fuel shortage in this country. People forgot that. All through the election of that year, there was fuel shortage. So when the president announced on day one, the day was sworn in, and said he was removing fuel subsidy, the immediate reaction was called by NNPC, which has been the major supplier of fuel, was to increase the pump price. Because as at that time, NNPC was no more willing to import fuel. NNPC was saying the federal government was owing it over 4 trillion naira, and it was also owing its suppliers abroad. So what the federal government did, what President Tinubu did, was to breathe some life into NNPC to resume importing fuel so that fuel can be available. People forget that easily. There was no way Nigeria could have sustained the regime of fuel subsidy. No way. Because the resources are just not there. And we are just spending the money that ought to belong to the future generation. So the resources are not there, so government just have to do the right thing. Yeah, problems followed what the president did. This government has been honest in admitting some of the problems, some of the fallouts of the consequence of removing fuel subsidy, and has been doing a lot of measures to ameliorate the pains of Nigeria.
So guys, the APC remains that party that, even as it stands now, Nigerians have been talking about budget padding. It will shock you to know how much was padded in the last budget. I mean, how much they padded in the last budget that Nigerians have been talking about. See, these people, when it comes to leadership, it's not in their agenda. They don't know anything about Nigerians. It's all about themselves. I mean, it's all about themselves, not about you and I. And that's why Nigerians cannot wait, to end their administration. Because guess what? A whole lot is happening in this country, honestly. A whole lot is happening. Now, tell me how a government that padded budget is coming to say corruption not allowed in Nigeria. Tell me how a government that is said to have, a kind of make INEC to declare the wrong results come out to say they are fighting corruption. This is why people are not taking Tinubu serious. If Tinubu travels outside the country, he will be left deserted, alone all the time. Because many people do not believe in the person of Tinubu. There is no accountability around him. There's nothing, and he's not even making effort to build his name. I mean, Tinubu being the president of Nigeria is enough opportunity for him to rebrand himself. But that's not what he's doing, because the people around him are not even telling him the truth to make him understand that, see, Mr. Man, no matter your past, you can rebrand. But Tinubu has been finding it difficult because it is still under this government that they refuse to buy made in Nigerian goods. They went to buy SUVs. Now they have SUVs. They've come out to tell us that now is time to insist on buying Nigerian made goods. Who is going to follow? All this is just for themselves. Anyway, guys, I don't know what you make of this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others. And drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you.